Anyway, we're the Woodworths, and we're building our off-grid homestead in the Ozarks of Northwest Arkansas. For the last year, we've been living in this 250 square foot cabin. It's taken a lot of figuring out to get there. Today, we're gonna show you how we keep food and water and trash and deal with other waste. So, if you're interested, stick around and we will give you the full rundown. You may notice there's not a lot of ads on this video, and that is intentional. If you're into what we're sharing, if you enjoy the video, please give this video a thumbs up, leave us a comment, and consider subscribing. It really helps our family's channel. The cabin is small, and once somebody's up, we're all up, whether we want to be or not. Now, we've tried just about every method of manual coffee brewing there is, and boiled coffee seems to be what works and tastes the best. Once the pot with water and grounds has boiled for a minute or two, it gets poured into an insulated stainless steel French press, and then it's ready to pour in your cup. Woody used to get acid reflux from coffee, but this method really cuts down on the acidity, so if you're suffering similarly, maybe give this a try. Food storage was a huge pain this last year. We didn't have power out here while we were building our solar hub, and it gets hot in this part of the US, so we were constantly running through ice in our cooler. After 8 or 9 months of relying on coolers and buying ice, we had run through our stash of home canned foods, which didn't need to be refrigerated, and ended up getting this. This is a portable refrigerator. It's about the same size as the cooler that we were previously using, but because it doesn't need any ice, we actually have more usable space in it than we did in the cooler. Now, there's a ton of products on the market that are very similar to this. This is the only one we've tried. You can run them from your car. Typically, you can run them directly from a small solar panel or a rechargeable battery like we've been doing. But if electricity isn't a great option, or if you want to keep electric use to a minimum, you can look for a propane-powered refrigerator. They've been around forever and are pretty bulletproof. A lot of folks actually find propane fridges that have been pulled from old RVs or campers, and that could be an even better deal financially. Look on Marketplace, you might be able to snag one of those. Let's break power into two segments, because there's really two different power situations here. Until about 2 weeks ago, we were running strictly off of generators out here to recharge all of our batteries. We chose this dual fuel model and have run it exclusively on propane, mostly to avoid having to clean the carb, because if you don't run gas, then you don't need to service the carb. We have plenty of stuff to maintenance around here. I like to take things off the list as often as possible. This is an easy one. This generator has been invaluable. When storms hit in town and power was knocked out for several days, we were actually able to bring this into town with us and help keep the fridges and freezers running for our friends and family over there. It's never a bad idea to have a generator handy. Speaking of batteries, let me show you what we've been running in the cabin. This is what we have been using for the last just about year. This is a rechargeable power station. Basically a really big rechargeable battery with every port or plug that you could hope for built into it. Like the portable fridge, there's a ton of options on the market, but we were sent this one to try, and after a year of use, we got some thoughts. The handle. Handle and wheels seem like they were meant for a child's suitcase. This thing weighs 100 pounds and is super awkward to move. As far as battery life goes, we haven't noticed a big difference from when we first started using it, but we have its replacement, and as soon as this thing dies, we are breaking out the new one. I'll link to this guy's replacement in the description of this video. It is an Anchor product, and we are really excited about it. Let me give you a little tour of our solar setup. This is our solar hub. We have 2 sets of 16 panels for a total of 32. Each panel is 370 watts, and when they're all going full blast, we're getting about 12,000 watts of power into the container. And they send power to this EG4 inverter. This is the 12K PV. From the inverter, power flows into this bank of batteries. If we plug into the system during the day when the sun is shining, then the inverter automatically pulls power from the panels without sending it to the battery first. The batteries maintain their charge this way, and then at night we're able to pull from battery power rather than the non-existent solar power. Our solar charging system is much bigger than we need right now, and that is by design. We have a well. A 700-foot deep well. We just don't use it. And it's not that we don't want to use it, we just haven't had the opportunity to finish it up yet. That's coming soon. But in the meantime, here's how we handle water. Let's start from the beginning. This is our tiny baby water tower. It's a food-grade IBC tote, holds 250 gallons. It is uphill from the cabin and on a platform that's close to 6 foot tall. And it's not all that great, but we're making it work for now. We get water into this tank by loading 2 of these empty on the back of my husband's flatbed. Then we drive them to a friend's house, fill them up from a friend's well, and drive them back. Once the totes make it back to the property, we either drive the truck up here with them loaded on the back, or unload them with the excavator or skid steer and get them to the same location. We hook them with the excavator, lift them up above, open the tap, and gravity feed, and it flows perfect and nice and works out pretty good. We really prefer the excavator method than running cords and running a pump and, you know, preferences. But that's how we do it. Once the tower is full, water flows through 1-inch pipe all the way down to the cabin. This is what water pressure, or lack thereof, looks like right now. Full blast. When we redo our water situation later this year, we're going to make some big improvements, like switching from a 1-inch pipe to a 2-inch pipe, and trading out that little water tower for a 3,000-gallon tank uphill on a riser. Both of those things will make our water pressure a lot better without having to add another pump.
When we bought the property in 2023, all we knew about the cabin was that it had no amenities, was basically an insulated shed, and we didn't have any equipment or a budget for a septic system, so we went a different route. This is our low-tech composting toilet system, and no, it doesn't stink. Here's how it works. You get a 5-gallon bucket, put down a layer of dry wood shavings or ash, do everything just like you normally would, then cover all the business with another layer of shavings or ash. As long as everything's covered, you shouldn't be able to smell it. If you can, then I recommend using a more fragrant shaving like cedar, but remember, it needs to be dry. Once the bucket's full, you take it outside, put a lid on it, and let it sit for as long as you want. We have some buckets that have been sitting for a year and a half.
While buckets are sitting, the contents are decomposing. When you're ready, build your compost pile, start dumping the buckets into it, and they'll continue to cook off, and by the end of the process, you'll have a great compost for trees. I wouldn't use it in my garden, but definitely for fruit-bearing trees. A lot of folks living off-grid or just out in the country don't get trash service, and we're in that boat. They wouldn't come out here if we begged, so we take trash, whatever we're not burning, into town. Most counties have a trash facility or a transfer station where you can drive up, drop things off, but we're fortunate to have a friend in town who lets us use his dumpster. This lifestyle's been a huge adjustment for us. Before coming to the cabin, we had just finished our biggest project of our lives back in North Carolina, building a pretty luxurious barn dominium. In that house, we have every convenience at our fingertips. We don't even have to walk outside to exercise or work on the cars. So life here, where everything, even the basics like food and water and power, require work and intentionality, it's just different, harder and different. But with each and every project we finish, we get a little bit closer to normal. And now that we have power and we don't have to run the generator for everything, we can relax a little and finally work on other projects like finishing our well. The big dream out here is to build a mostly self-sufficient homestead, and we're getting there 1 week at a time. If you enjoyed this week's video, please let us know in the comments. Give this video a like and consider subscribing. We'll see you in the next one. Can you see me? Do I go forward?
Back up a little bit.
Hi. You want me to do that again?
Yeah, back up. Right there.
Freaking hair, man. To the shores. She-shells. Let's go straight to the stores. Stores.